Okay, what a way to begin on a week like Hayom Yom of today. Kocha Mamash. Ayin Beis. We made sure to have Gashmias before we start the shir. For those who wanted, some people had the opportunity to do Iskafia. So last week we started the first half of Perek Nun Aleph. And I want to just mention a few things. So at the end, we went quickly, the last section. So we're going to learn the Nimshal today, page Ayin Beis, V'kocha Mamash, Al Derech Moshel. And the Alter Rebbe explained that the Chayes Aliki, the Eibishter's Chayes, the Chayes in the body, the Chayes of the Neshama and the Guf, there's a Etzem HaChayes. The fact that the Guf is alive, the Etzem HaChayes, there's no difference. Every part of the body is equally alive. That's the Chayes Kloli. And we spoke that the Etzem HaNeshama is beyond the Chayes Kloli. The Etzem HaNeshama, the Neshama's capacity is much greater than that it gives Chayes to a physical body. And the Etzem HaNeshama is not bihislapshus in the guf at all, and it's in the entire body equally. Then the Alter Rebbe explained that here's what I wanted to tweak out a little bit. That without a body, the particular koiches can't manifest. We say a person has all these koiches, right? Let's say you have, if we speak more in anatomical terms, I don't know if that's the right word, but we say, there's a respiratory system, and there's a reproductive system, and all these different systems, the digestive system, all these systems, without a body, there's no system. Right. In the nefesh, there is a potential for, but all these koiches are behelim. In the nefesh, they don't exist. Somehow, the guf helps draw out and give expression to all these different abilities that the nefesh has on its own. And the Alter Rebbe says we use the lashon oir because with the oir and the moir are distinct. We separate them. There's a moir and then there's a oir. The chayes, as it goes out from the neshama into the body, it's only a ha'ara. It's right. It's like the oir of the shemesh. It's not the shemesh itself. The etzem haneshama is not finding expression in the koiches. It's a ha'ara of, and in that ha'ara, the brain somehow is the greatest receptacle for the truest revelation of the gilui. In other words, Etzem HaNeshama is completely out of touch. We don't have any instrument to connect with. It's everywhere, but it's not experienced. The revelation of the Gilui Oir HaNeshama, where is its primary place of expression, is in the brain. So in the brain, it finds itself in the purest form. And from the brain, it's again a ha'ara into the rest of the body. And that's why I was reading Halekach v'Halibu from Rabbi Alexander Yudasin. It's suggested for Perek Nun Aleph of Tanya. The Rebbe actually mentions to read some of his remarks on Perek Nun Aleph. So he says, when a person wakes up, the first place where they feel that they're awake is in their consciousness. Yeah. They didn't get out of bed yet. Right. Maybe they didn't even open their eyes. But
it's interesting because your consciousness, sometimes you are in a dream and you have to know that you're not dreaming and you're awake.
Right.
So your consciousness can still be there even if you're sleeping.
If you're sleeping, it's true. But notwithstanding that point, which is true, when you awaken, the yair that you woke up, where is the waking up? It's in your consciousness. Then there's another aspect that there are, all the koiches that we have, there are different we because we borrow language, we will use the lashon, especially. I mean, in all languages, when we say to see something. So seeing, there are different types of seeing. In Chassidus we talk about re'iyas ein haseichel. Right? There's an intellectual seeing, or like when someone says, I remember someone was describing in Chumash, it says in Parshas Vayera, it says Vayera Elav Hashem be'Eloinei Mamre. Avram was sitting at the tent, at the door, and it says Vayisa Eina Vayar. He lifted up his eyes and he saw. V'hinei shloisha anoshim nitzovim olav vayar.
Okay.
He saw. So he already saw. What's he seeing now? It says twice vayar. There's a Rashi. Rashi says he understood. The second vayar is he understood. So I remember someone was using this pasuk as an example for a Chumash class, and they said, when someone opens the fridge, we say, I see you're hungry. Right? I see. What do you see? There's an understanding. So we use, when we talk about the re'iyah, there's re'iyah on different levels. And it's all in the nefesh, and they're all different. And the Alter Rebbe is, he hints, he's merames to these different, even when we talk about Shmiyah, and I noticed this when I had a particular teacher. Very often, when someone would share a thought in learning, he would respond, "I hear." And we knew that when he says "I hear," he doesn't agree. The words "I hear" and "I don't agree," he doesn't say it, and that's so perfect mitzad Chassidus that Shmiyah is meirochik. Right? Hearing is from the distance, meaning I'm not where you are. Right. I hear. So the koiches exists at different levels. So all this the Alter Rebbe is mitzayin to. So he uses the language that he uses. He says, every aver lefi mazgoi utchonasoi. Basically, this is very important. Even though the chayas of every aver is in the brain, like the Alter Rebbe spoke about that, the brain feels, and last week we had a whole discussion about how when you experience pain, the brain feels it, but it's already after the chayas was sent out. So somehow within the brain, there are different compartments, or it experiences all the division of the body. However, the koiches aren't experienced in the brain. The chayas is experienced in the brain, but lifting and moving and seeing and hearing, that happens in each individual koyach. That's not in the brain. It's behelim. The chayas of everything is in the brain, but the koyach, that's not in the brain. It's behelim. Even though it comes through the mayach, it's behelim in the mayach, which I didn't mention last week. And that's what he says here at the end. V'chol ha-koiches mispashtem me'amayach. Yeah, that's the last section on page 142. What does it mean, mispashtim me'hamayach? That just like the mayach is a hispashtus from the etzem haneshama, from the mayach there's a hispashtus to the lower evarim. They don't experience the chayas prati with the same revelation in the same way that the brain experiences. It's a hispashtus. Because he says, Kishamu iker mishkan hanashama kula b'bchinas gili, the revelation, whatever the part of the neshama that's revealed, where is it revealed? It's revealed in the neshama. You see that in the last section, he separates koyach and chayas. You see, he doesn't say v'chol hachayas mispashtim mehamayach. V'chol hakoychas, we're separating because the mayach does not experience the koychas the way the mayach, the link between the evarim in the chayas is much deeper than the koychas. The koychas are not that. The koychas are not linked in the same way. Just all these nuances, another aspect. What do we find? This is also an idea that Chassidus brings it, that comes up every once in a while, that a person who's missing a koyach, let's say a blind person, could have seeing children.
Yeah.
Why? Because the blindness is from the aver, right? And hoilodo is from the moyach. In the moyach, there's the shleimus. Yeah. So this is, in other words, what's the point? What are we proving with this mashal, right? That the koyches hanefesh exists behelem in the moyach, bishleimus, and then when it's mispashet into the guf, there the kalim become the dominant force in utilizing the koyches. You need an aver. Without an aver, there's no koyach. So if the child has the aver that functions, so then the child has the shleimus. Let's take a look at v'kocha mamash al derech moshe. Yeah. I don't usually share my machshava zoros, but basically the idea is that these prakim Tanya are less learned a little bit, so it's okay to spend a little bit more time. It's nish gefährlich. Kocha mamash al derech moshel. So here the Alter Rebbe begins with the lowest level. He begins with the godliness that's in the evorim. Ein soif baruch hu, mamalei kol almin lachayesam. Now remember, it's a chayas prati. The chayas prati, without the worlds, that level of chayas wouldn't be there. Just like without a guf, you don't have the koyches. Ubekol oilom, yesh bruyim le'ein ketz v'tachlis. Now watch, he does something very interesting. He says in every world, there are infinite, endless bruyim. So he says endless, le'ein ketz. Then he says, ribuy revavis, tens of thousands of tens of thousands. Why would he do that? Why would he already told you that they're infinite. So now he goes back to give you a number? Right. Ribuy revavis minim madreges, malachim u'neshavos chulu. So what the point, what the Alter Rebbe is saying is, the number of creations are infinite. The number of categories aren't infinite. The sugei nivroim, the types of creatures are limited. Yes, there are tens of thousands, but there's a limit of variation. With it, how many in each variation, that could be without a gvul.
If you want a question, you can go from the Rambam. The Rambam says that the only reason things are different is because they are different in category. The only reason one angel is not the same as another angel is because he has different klefas or different seer.
So that's something else, like sichlim nivdolim. Right? What separates a malach doesn't have a body, right. So every neshama is a different madrega. Every yid is a different madrega. Sug and madrega here is different.
Okay.
Right, a different
system.
Right, a different type. Like when we say bechina and madrega. So a madrega is one Indian, a bechina, bechein ribui ha'elamis ein leketzu gvul gavaya al gavaya chulu. Endless worlds. V'hinei mehu sevatz. So in the chayas parati, it's through the variations of creation that memali kolalmin becomes more and more diversified. It's only because there are all these creations that each creation draws out a new, right? It's like for the parents, every child they treat differently. That, right? That only expresses itself when there's another child, right? In another setting, that will come out. Even potentially, but the state of potential is real helam. If you put someone in a different circumstance, what's going to happen? Yeah, of course they have the capacity to deal with it, but they're not in another circumstance, so it's not there. So in Mamalik Alamin, the worlds actually create, so to speak, the variation in Elikus. It's the Evorim. Now he goes back to the Etzem HaNeshama, the Etzem Elikus. V'hine, mehusei v'atzmusei shelein seif baruch hu. The Etzem of Elikus, shava b'alyenim v'tachtenim. In other words, the fact that everything is alive, just like in the human being, k'mashal HaNeshama hanal. The Tikkunim says the ihu stimu the kol stimin. The Alter Rebbe has to explain the meaning of stimu the kol stimin. He wants to. There's a simple error that people could make that he wants to clarify. Stimu the kol stimin does not mean he is among the hidden ones. He is the most hidden. Okay. That's not what it means. Stimu the kol stimin means of all worlds, including the hidden worlds, he is hidden from all of them. Pirush, that's what the Alter Rebbe explains. The afilu ba'almin stimin de le'elah, even the highest hidden worlds, hu sasum v'nelam b'techem, he's hidden from them. Because remember, the etzem is not mispashet. The etzem, it's oir moir. Moir remains moir. It's only oir that's begilui. So the moir of Elikus is you can never say that it's more in one place than in another place. It's equally sosum. K'meishu sosum v'nelam b'tachtainim. Ki les machshar tfisa beklal, meaning there is no instrument, period, that's able to grasp Elikus, afilu be'elam misal yenim. V'nimtza, what does this tell us? That k'meishu matzu sham, kach nimtza b'tachtainim mamash. With regards to the etzem ha'er, the etzem ha'er is equally everywhere, just like the etzem ha'neshama, the etzem ha'chayis. Now, v'ahev del shebein elam misal yenim v'tachtainim, what distinguishes between the upper and lower worlds, who not mitzad the etzem, but mitzad hamshachas hachayis, mitzad the revelation, mitzad the oir, asher ein seif baruch hu mamshich umeir bibchinas gilui me'ahelam. Hashem reveals from His hiddenness. There's a revelation. Shezeh echad me'atayim. This is one of the reasons shehahashpa. The hamshachas, it shouldn't say hamshachos, the vav is a mistake. Hachayis mechuna b'shem oir al derech mashal. This is one of the reasons why the Mekubalim refer to Hashem as a light of Hashem. Right? So sometimes we say, oh, he's called light because there's always dveikus. Right? But that's not the reason he's giving here. It's called light.
Only one way to Hashem to reveal
is oir. It's not the moir. That the etzem is not revealed.
We should not tell about end of the Yom Yom when he said like what I don't want to get into the water.
Right. Yeah, he wants. Yeah. Yeah. Right, he doesn't want any Gilui. Yeah. So this is one of the reasons, Lahachiyos, this revelation. Lahachiyos, ha'elames v'habruim shabahem. Remember, we're not talking about creation. That's why it's a tricky word here. This chayas, we're talking about not that they should exist, but that they should experience, that they should be aware of the life in them, or that they should reveal that there's something more. That the story that I was going to say earlier is that I don't remember the name. There was a chassid. Mendel Futterfass told the story. There was a chassid when he was very young. He was into philosophy. He loved philosophy. At 10 years old, he was fluent, and he had read and understood books and whatever it was. The father was very concerned about what's going to be with the. So he brought his son to the Tzemach Tzedek. So the Tzemach Tzedek had a handkerchief on the table. So he covered his hand with the handkerchief, and he started going like this. So he says, so what's moving? So he says, your hand is moving there. He says, yeah, but you can't see it. So he says, it was a rhetoric.
Right.
He says, obviously, just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it isn't there. And that was, and for the kid, basically this, I don't know what the right word, the right English definition, whether we want to talk, whether it's hedonistic or whatever, that it's all what I see, my reality is, that's it. There's nothing else, right? There's, I don't know that that's the right term.
That's not the right term.
Right, it's not.
I'll think of the right word.
Yeah.
Because when I was 10 years old, I was into philosophy.
Whatever.
But example, you say that it was also show
Empirical.
Empirical. Yeah. Good. Okay. Good.
Show where is the this is beer. This is.
Yeah. That's it's a deeper. It's a more. Yeah. That's a more edelkeit. So. We had a Farbrengen once in Kfar Chabad, and I remember the impression that it left. It was such a.
This story?
No. The Mashpia, he sent. It was a long Farbrengen. He really developed an idea, and it was a Farbrengen where he was giving a shir on the mimer that the boys were learning. So everyone was the Teicha and Yonim, and he took a napkin by the Farbrengen. And he threw the napkin. He tried to throw it, like across the, and it's a flip. It doesn't go, And then he asked the boy to go outside and bring a stone, right? And then he wrapped the stone with 3 napkins. This is Eilam HaYetzirah, Eilam HaBriya, and then he threw and it flew nicely. So he says that's the Evan. Malchus da Atzilis is called like Evan Moaso Abaynim, right? Malchus Datzilis is Evan. Vayokim Matzeva, Vayitzek Shemen Al Reisha. Anyway, and I remember the impact. It was such a visual. It just had a tremendous power, and the boy was very taken by the Tzemach Tzedek's, and then he grew up to be whatever else happened on the journey. So he says, so here the Alter Rebbe is talking about Gilui HaChayis. Chayis not in existing, and we'll see because he's going to pull it apart. He says, V'atachtoinim. Afilu aruchniyim. Eina mekablim b'bchinas Gilui kol kach. In every olam, every malach, every grade, there's a yerida. Just like in the guf. Rak, bilevushim rabim. And the levushim, they shape, they reshape, they change the fabric of the oir. Asher ein sev baruch hu malbish bahem hachayes va'oir. Even the nefesh hachayunis is a levush. Asher mamshich umeir lahem lachayesam. Kol kach otzmu v'gavru al levushim. The levushim are so great. Asher ein sev baruch hu malbish u'mastir bahem ha'oir va'achayes ad. It's to what extent Asher bara bei elam haza achumri v'agashmi mamash, that he created. Here, when he says hachumri v'agashmi mamash, what he's referring to is the daimim. The daimim of elam haza. Umehavehu umechayehu. He brings him into existence, and then after it already exists, he sustains it. Bechayes ve'er, asher mamshich u'meir loy. Right? There's a er, each one according to its level. Eir hamalubish u'mechusa u'muster b'teich halavushim harabim v'atzumim. In these fantastic tzimtzumim, just like in the body, the chayes in a heel. Hamalimim u'mastirim o'er v'achayes, they hide what actually sustains them. Right? Remember, we're talking about the ha'ara. The ha'ara of elikus. Not what the etzem ha'chayes. The chayes paroti is so hidden that it's completely not visible. All we see is dvar of chumriim v'gashmim. We see rocks.
Right, even just right there.
Yeah, we see lifeless v'nirim mesim. They look like there's no life in them. B'teicham, not only is there a chayas kololi that brings in them into existence, but there's a chayas proti that's lefi erech, this in a tiny fragment of light, like he's going to say, nefesh de malchus da asiyah, the lowest form of spiritual chayas. So there's B'teicham yesh er v'chayes. Hamahava isa me'ayin leyesh tamid. That keeps that brings them to life. Shalayachzor liyas ayin v'efes k'shahoyu. That they shouldn't return to be ayin v'efes. There's the Rebbe Rashab wrote a letter where he speaks about why sometimes in Chassidus it says ayin me'ayin leyesh. And sometimes it says yesh me'ayin. The Bria is yesh me'ayin or me'ayin liyesh. What's the difference? Why sometimes you say yesh me'ayin and sometimes me'ayin liyesh? So he says yesh me'ayin is when we talk about sustaining. There's a yesh. It already exists. Now Hashem is sustaining it. Hamechadesh betuvei b'chol yem tavid masev reishis. The ayin liyesh is there is nothing. You have to create it. But we say ex nihilo, yeah? Ex nihilo. So there, the lashon is ayin liyesh. So here, this is what the Alter Rebbe says. There's a ach betechem yesh er v'chayes hamahava oisam that creates them. May ayin liyesh. And it's tamid. They shouldn't go back to be not. There's this oir. Who me'en save baruch. This is, in other words, there's a highest kololi from the Eibishter. And then there's the highest prati. The highest prati in each aver, according to in each gashmi, the way it's supposed to be.
Each rock.
Yeah, rak, shenislabish, b'levushim rabim. K'mesh kosa beitz chayim. So here you see, he says the Lashon Chumri. The point here too is that he's saying doimim, the doimim of the earth. There's so much on earth that lives. There are many organisms, and we see things growing and things and so on.
I don't see bacteria.
Right. And here what he's saying is the doimim. Let's reduce it. So, hanira le'enei basar, yeah, not under the microscope. So I want you to know that the oir and the chayis, remember it's the oir, not the etzem, who mimalchus the malchus dasiya, right? The lowest ubeteicha in melubish in malchus the malchus dasiya is malchus the yitzira, etc. Meaning the oir of the spheres are oiris and kalim. The oiris of the spheres are a likus. A likus unites with the other spheres. They're all really connected. We spoke about this once, that it says that Atzilus, the 10 spheres, the Atzilus, have 30 kalim. Yeah. Pnimim, right? So every vessel, the inner part of the vessel carries the light. Then there's the vessel itself. Then there's the chitzonius, the design, the color, right? That's not so negaya to the. In other words, what's outside, the drawing on the outside, what it symbolizes is really it has no impact or implication on the oil, right? What color cup do you have? What? You know what I mean? What's the difference? Someone's handing you a plastic cup. No, I want that cup. What?
That's truthful, right?
Yeah. So that's completely the chitzonius, and that's what happens at Elam Asiyah. We don't even understand that it's a keli. We don't even understand that, you know what this function is? That it carries energy inside. It's just an external shell. Yeah, you know how that song goes. What kind of man is this? An empty shell? No one ever heard that. Yeah.
I heard the expression.
Shebetoich kulon yutzfiris da'atzilis. Right? Hidden. The Helen inside our Yutzfiris Da'atzilis, and the Yutzfiris Da'atzilis, Ham Yuchada is B'ma'atzilan, Ein Seif Baruch Hu. What is he saying? Yutzfiris Da'atzilis. Basically, that's the Moyach. And we're going to come back, right? In other words, where are we going? He's going to speak about the function of the brain. As we continue, I want to point out another few little things. Could we do that a second? Page 144. No, 1 second. You see page 142, the top line. Page 142, top line. Mitsuyer betzir gashmi udmus vetavnis ketavnis haguf. Right? That we don't say that the neshama is mitsuyer betzir gashmi, and then dmus vetavnis. What's the difference between all of these? So mitsuyer betzir gashmi means like when you touch a statue, you could feel if a blind person touches someone's face, right? It's 3D. Good.
Yeah,
Then
one person can touch a statue, but you can't really get anything from a painting.
the mus vetavnis.
If there's brushstrokes, you probably could.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, that's 3D.
Yeah, the mus vetavnis is in a drawing, right? Where you have the shape, you have the not dimensions. It's like scaled, right? So that gives your eye. It builds the image in your mind, but on the paper, there's no image. So that's the chiluk. He says the neshama, not only is the neshama not mitsuyer gashmi, not only is the neshama not that you can't touch it and feel the bumps, that it's not 3D, but it wouldn't even be appropriate to say two-dimensional, right? In other words, there is no shape in the neshama. Also, just always important to keep in mind, just to see. We spoke last week about this, also about Mishkana v'Hashra'asa, halfway down the page. we have to remember that there is the moyach is nimshach besides the chayas prati to every aver. Let's say a person's will. Chassidus talks about it all the time, that the will, where is it? It's in the brain, but it passes down into the rest of the body without the mezeg and without the particulars of each of the koiches of every aver. It's a koyach kloli that ba'if and makif has an impact on the entire. Yeah, so like umisham mispashetas lachalo evarim includes the rotzen, that the rotzen is nimshach to the entire goof. Again, we went a little quick in this section, that the moichin, they receive the energy first, right? What does it mean? It receives the best quality, and it's through the brain that the rest of the goof receives. And there are things that are nimshach purely from the brain into the rest of the body. For instance, rotzen. Anyway, akopanim, these are some of the things also. Yeah, we have the lashon melubash, mechusa, umuster. Yeah, melubash. Yeah, it's further in the second half. Here, you see, the third to last line on Ayim Beis. You see? Asher mamshich umeir lo'ir hamalubish umechusa umuster b'tei chalavushim arabim. So this is connected the three olumas. Right? The first olam is a garment. The second olam is a concealment. And the third, in other words, it's not it's a covering, not a concealment. It's a covering. And the third is a concealment. Right? In other words, a garment, you're wearing a shirt. A cover is like when you cover the grill, or you cover a car because it's going to rain, or a motorcycle. Right? It's not a lavush. That's not it's out of service now. And then muster means I'm hiding it. I have something that's illegal. Right? It can't be. Yeah, I buried it. So those are the three levels. In Bria, the oir is in a lavush. It could function. It's wearing a shirt. Yeah. Right. In Yetzirah, it's already covered. It's a little bit out of, it's the winter now. My grill is covered. And then in Asiya, the chayes is already. It's muster, it's completely hidden. Yeah. So that's the Lashonos of how the Alter Rebbe. Okay, we finished.